Who's next in line? Maybe Keith?
We'll go ahead and meet.
Yeah.
We just don't have to take any official
He's
action.
the most.
Well, we've got a quorum. I just, that would be our president and our vice president both out, so I'm not sure who runs the meeting after that.
The
You
person
can.
with the most degrees and certifications. Licensure.
It's you.
I guarantee if I run it, we'll be out of here in less than an
Yeah.
hour.
Well, we don't have a ton of stuff to do, so, I don't know, how close are we, Alex?
2 till.
Two till? Okay. Another minute or two.
Why did he say no to restaurants, the ventilation?
He said, everybody's got masks and all that, but everything that is on that table, somebody has touched.
And with.
And in the food preparation area, there are people said, you're not back there, you don't know that every cook
Yeah.
is wearing a mask.
Yeah.
You don't know who's back there, and several of the outbreaks in Warren County have been as a result of restaurants. One of them being Double Dogs, where they didn't tell anybody that people had tested positive,
Did they ever trace
and
back?
and the guy that managed it died from it.
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Did they ever trace back any patrons that got it because of it, or did they just trace the employees?
Well, they traced some of it to a bunch of them went to Florida on a
It's
private
always a
plane.
bar, yeah.
And had a big time together, and about 6 of them tested positive.
Wow.
But that's what he said, even if they bring you, your menu, somebody has handled everything you're touching.
Mhm.
And you have no way of knowing what's going on in the back of the house, where they're preparing the food. Said, whether they're wearing masks or not, you don't know. He was just very negative about it.
Somebody I know,
It was
their
infectious
father
disease.
passed away, and she told friends not to come to the funeral. She said it's gonna be a mess, and sure enough, 20 of her family members have COVID now. She has it, and 20 of her family members, and it's from the funeral.
The scariest thing I've done was attend a friend's funeral out in rural part of Kentucky where they didn't really believe anything was happening, and they had the classic sort of stake handling kind of preacher going on, and
Yep.
they had a full choir singing the praises with no masks on. It was like, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
I need to get out of here.
There's nothing you could do. Just-
No,
Yeah.
There's a good
I was a pallbearer. I had to leave.
Yeah. Really nothing you could do.
good sized church in town where you see everybody going in wearing a mask.
Mhm.
I heard this through my daughter who had a friend who goes there, and she said, as soon as they go in, they sit down and take their mask off.
I probably know the church.
Said the place is
I
completely
think we probably
full,
do, yeah.
singing, shouting, and not a mask on, and then when they get up to leave, they all put the mask back on.
Yeah.
So that the press won't catch it.
Yeah. Probably could guess. Oh, man.
The Warren County Schools, they're big on, they had all the teachers, all the staff had to watch a video last week about wearing your mask. You're not gonna take any pictures, post them. And then they had Dan Costello's, congratulations, you're going to Breck, with all the administrative staff, central office, sitting all there together in the audience, non-masked.
Oh my gosh.
Was that not a file picture? That was actually a current picture?
I believe so, I don't know.
Mhm.
But somebody that was there, or was in the school, kept saying, talking about the mask.
Mhm.
So it could have been that they were hostile. I was like,
Wow, the schools have done such a good job.
they have done a
Yeah.
I absolutely hate
great
the
job.
schedule, but they've done such a good job.
Yeah, it's such a terrible, there's no good,
There's not
there's no good.
Fayette County's not going back at all. They told them they were.
Mhm.
My sister called me last night and she said, they told them they were going back and they learned it from the television. The
Mhm.
superintendent didn't send out that news.
Ugh.
And they had 2 weeks to pick out targeted kids. So like one school picked out all their kindergartners and first graders. Somebody picked out all their special educators. Well, then there was mass anger. And so they finally decided nobody was going back. And so they spent 2 weeks getting bus routes and, people were making childcare arrangements and then changed their mind.
Wow.
So they're not going back all this semester.
We went back in Ray, brought back 15,000 college students, and now we're in Orange. So it can be done.
Yeah,
Oh,
we,
yeah.
we spiked immediately after it
I
opened, and then
have
it
to
came back
say-
down.
I'm a little amazed that, because the Western folks don't seem to, or at least the ones that you see after school, or in classes, maybe they're all following
That's
the
the only
rules,
place.
but outside of that, they are not.
No. They carry their mask, they wear them on the
Yeah.
mask. It's like a handbag.
Well, It's 4 o'clock by default, I'll call the meeting.
Okay.
order.
All right.
Um,
It's
Um,
appreciated too.
Yes. All right,
Is there any old business? No. New
we-
business?
what about minutes? Can we approve, minutes
Yeah.
and financial reports?
Okay. Any additions or corrections to the minutes?
I said, move.
Second.
All in favor?
Uh,
Financial report? There wasn't anything unusual in it that I saw. Motion, second.
Motion.
Second.
Also, you've got
Take shorthand.
so much.
Because I don't have an agenda before me,
Yeah.
so we just move it.
Okay.
And now we go to reports, and we got one reporter.
Yes. Thanks to this gentleman sitting right in front of me, Maine opened this morning. He has put in, I don't know, I couldn't even begin to count the hours that Alex has gifted the library, which I'm trying to come up with some good way to thank him, and so.
Give him a new hat.
Give him a new hat.
I actually bought a
different
new hat.
color.
I'm gonna start wearing it when I stop putting my head in the ceiling, because it's
Um,
dusty real quick.
But he really has, the one thing that sort of held us up, or that was the key point to getting reopened, was getting Alex's office and server room put together and built and everything moved. And so he has really, again, I can't tell you how hard he's worked to get it, everybody coordinated and make sure it works. And this morning we came in and everything, phones were working and computers were working, and then the professionals came in and messed it all up. So.
So we had about half of our ports got miswired. So we were using the other half to do everything on, because that was working. And they came in and went, oh, this half is miswired, let's redo all of them. So they fixed the ones that were broken, and they broke the ones that were fixed.
Yeah.
So I spent all day working with them to refix the ones that they broke and find alternatives so that, but by the end of the day, everybody except Veronica's computer is back up and running, and we have a functional library again.
Which is, it's a miracle. If you could have seen it, I came back a few days early from vacation to help get it together. When I got there Thursday morning, they'd done some stuff, but if you can see what happened from Thursday morning on, it's kind of amazing. But we are up and we are functioning, and there were people there at 8 o'clock this morning. One of our regulars that I have known since I've worked at the library was the first person in today, so
Oh.
he was very excited. Of course, then he couldn't use the computer, and that he was less excited. But the walls are going in. Things are actually taking shape. So I'm hoping maybe our next meeting we can meet there, so you can see how things are progressing. And it would be after the building closed, so we should be fine to do that. We've had a few issues with things that we couldn't get, with things behind brick that they didn't know about, or nothing behind brick that they didn't know about. So, but we seem to be moving forward, and we do have a construction meeting tomorrow, and we'll know a little more there. I will say, while I was on vacation, I got a call from Abraham, who is back to being my best friend. And so he's all happy they have something going in that facility, and he was actually wondering if we would like to be out sooner than we had anticipated. So we got one building up and going, and now our focus is quickly shifting to trying to get out of that space, which is working out actually kind of well. We're going to try and I told him we would be out by November 15th for sure, and we'd try to go faster if we could. But we will open the last of our well, we've opened our Boys and Girls Club satellite branch, several weeks ago. And the other two, we are moving into this week, and they will open and start functioning next week. So, the timing is pretty good, for that. And our delivery service is up and running, and just to kind of give you some, I'm gonna beat Keith's idea of getting out of here quick, so,
So,
but
I
our.
have no reservations for dinner.
Okay.
On doctor's orders.
Yeah. I bet it's wife's orders.
I'm not gonna go to the movies.
Oh, yeah.
So,
But so far for the month of October, we have circulated out of Graham 126 items. Out of the Boys and Girls Club satellite location, 280, and through the delivery service, 341.
Wow.
And so I think it, illustrates that we're on the right track and what we're switching to.
if I could interject, I heard through one of my daughters who has friends who are at Boys and Girls Club, they are just ecstatic.
Oh, good.
They really are.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful thing.
Well, those kids, when the people who are enrolled in that program, they're there. They don't get to leave, and so they just didn't have access. Now, the sad part that sort of ties into that, for those of you who know Laura Beth, who has worked with us for a while, and she was our contact person there. She actually has taken a position as the manager of the community farmers market, and so she has left the library for now. And she and I talked. I said for now, but I think it'll be a good move for her. She is an energetic person and she needs to be running something, and so that's a good place. And then before she comes back here and runs this place.
There's still connections.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, she's great, and I think she still has a heart for library. But that's her other half of her heart is farmers markets and artisans, and so that's her other passion. So that'll be good for her. It's a little sad for us, but it'll be good for her. And I've already mentioned that the bond issue, we did not get the rates that we wanted. It didn't make as much sense to do it, so we have put that on the shelf, and we'll try again in a few weeks. And he said it really had nothing to do with us. Our ratings were good. It was a small project, and all of them came in higher than for, I think the school systems here even had some bonds out for issue at the same time, and everybody's came back higher. So that's pretty much most of my report. There is something that I would like to do. The staff here we've worked through a lot of places, while other places were closed. They've been under a lot of pressure because we're running with a lot fewer staff than normally we would, and we don't have because we've tried to keep everything as pure squad wise. They're doing more, and and they've been great. Nobody's complained. They've been fantastic. So I'd like to do some things for them to sort of thank them and give them a little relief, if you would be open to it. One would be to order everybody something more like this, and I think that's not too hard. I didn't think you would object to that. But the other thing I'd like to consider, and this is going to sound counterintuitive since we've tried so hard to get open at Maine, but I'd like to consider being closed on the day after Thanksgiving. Simply because, number one, there are going to be a lot of people who are asking off, and I'm not sure we would have the staff to cover everywhere.
Just do it.
Just do it? Okay. Any issues?
Well, actually, I see that as real estate bar because people are gonna be coming in and out, have been other places in and out.
Yeah, it gives us a few days of
Yes.
letting
Breathe.
things, yeah,
Just do
okay. Now, here comes
it.
Jim.
That's your management job. You don't do the rest of that.
Would y'all please start over again?
I was just about to wrap things up, gents.
Ask me if I got anything important to say.
You can tell the officers,
That's right. We show up when the work's over.
yeah.
So,
That's a good officer. He says, handle it there, Sergeant. Or I'll be over here out of the way if you
That's
need
what
me.
I've been doing.
I've been trying to listen to Catch 22. I don't know if you men like that book. I didn't like it when I read it in high school. I still don't like it, but
Catch 22.
Catch 22. I'm like, this is ridiculous. So anyway, those are the two things that I'd like to do, and since there's no objections, I will plan to do as we move forward with that. The only other things I have is just to sort of point out some things that were in the reports. Again, the youth services team has done a phenomenal job to try to keep things going through drive-in events. Right now, we're giving away pumpkins and doing paint. People are signing up for painting pumpkins, and that's going really well. But if you have not yet seen the first of a series of videos on haunted places in the area, go back and watch the one on the Sexton House. It looks like we paid somebody to do that. But we're highlighting some of the things in our region that are, there's one going to be on Waverly Place in Louisville. There's the Sexton House. But then we did a contest with people submitted their scary tales, and all that's coming up, and they really have done a phenomenal job. They look very professionally put together, so go back and look at those. We had our first Divas meeting, book club meeting, which we did after hours so that the ladies could be spread out, and they were thrilled to be able to do that. Lots of things coming up. I can't begin to list everything Alex has been doing. The Wi-Fi routes are changing up some because of the weather, and some because like Curbside is stepping in to help with one of the larger ones we've had. But those are all going really well. So I think that's really all I have.
Nothing going on at the library as usual.
Okay. Good enough.
So,
Trying to think where, I was in a meeting, I'd had Zoom. Somebody was talking about the library's contribution to helping with study and virtual days, and it was, highly, highly complimentary.
oh, that's nice.
But I would like to be able to tell you who, I know the group, it was, the Childhood Council from Butler, Edmondson, Warren.
Oh, nice. Mhm.
But I think it was, they were saying, how can we do that in our area? So it was very, very flattering.
Well, and the thing with the delivery service, what we're seeing is we sort of anticipate it likely to be older people or people with underlying conditions that might be hesitant to come out, that didn't get caught by our normal home delivery service. But it's moms at home with kids are our regulars so far.
There's at least one kid who's a regular who I wasn't anticipating that. A child would get in and start making these requests, but I know we've done several deliveries for just a kid who's at home school and wants library materials, and it's working out great.
So it's been it's not like wildfire, but it's been really good, and I do think it will continue to grow, and it's really not been a hard service to get started. So that's been great.
Of course, it's sort of like watching the ducks. It looks like everything's running smoothly. I know they're going like crazy under the water.
It's true.
But I think everybody's totally amazed. It's been going on for 8 months or so.
Yeah.
How smoothly the library has continued to operate. It's just, to me, incredible when you see other businesses just struggling to get their door open.
I would say it helps to work with people who went into a job because they cared about people and they want to help people. That makes a huge difference. And so you see the Courtney Stevens and the Veronica Rainwaters and the
Well,
Jennifer.
instead of just coming to a stop and saying, when all this is over,
Yeah.
we'll start doing ABC. You guys have just kept doing ABC like it wasn't happening.
I went to the library, one of the libraries at Western, there's police
With a
tape
mask on, too.
over
Yeah.
stacks.
Oh,
Now he is,
police,
yeah.
yes.
Police tape around the stacks, you can't touch the
Yeah.
books.
Well, you
Yeah,
know, we've tried to be very realistic about everything, you know, not overly
I felt-
anxious, but be careful at the same
I feel
time.
like a criminal though.
Oh, yeah. Well, there are public libraries who are not open.
I thought, why,
And I'd have no
why
idea
are you
why.
open if nothing's available? And you can check some things out, but not everything, because there's certain things they can't sanitize. And I'm like, okay, but I mean, I felt like a criminal in a library because there was police tape up.
Yeah, it makes no sense. And actually, there have been extensive studies up on how long the virus can last on different library materials. And they've even done it on how long, if you quarantine it stacked versus separated. But the bottom line is they don't believe there's enough virus there
Yeah.
to transfer it anyway. However, I can't stop quarantining yet because that was part of the governor's, what was submitted to the governor and approved for libraries. So I'm trying to find a loophole to shorten our quarantine time as much as possible. But it's interesting because I was rereading through all of it, and I went out today and I said, make sure, because one thing they were specific about how you handled our pens.
Yeah.
I mean, it was spelled out how you had to handle pens, which we did, we were doing, but. So,
Yeah, we have a box of pens and each one of them is wrapped in plastic and or cellophane. Somebody signed documents, you hand them the box, they reach in and get a pen, and they keep it.
oh,
Yeah.
well, that's probably what we had to do, is just buy a bunch of pens to give away, but we've been quarantining them for 4 days, and so the 4th day they come back.
Tell them, take it, keep it.
So,
You have to quarantine the pen for 4 days?
That was done in
That's
Park
what we
Hall.
have been doing.
You
You don't wipe
can.
them down or
There was a
anything?
guy
we
standing
can,
right
but
there.
usually, what we
Down in,
discovered is the
the minute you walked
disinfectant
off, you
is more
wiped off
expensive
the
than
counter and
the
wiped
pen.
the pen off.
So we just bought enough that we can quarantine them and rotate them through.
Yeah, if we could time travel, we would heavily invest in cleaning supplies because
Yes.
prices on them have skyrocketed, and that's when you can find them.
Well, the labor involved with somebody sitting there cleaning every pen.
Yeah. Yeah. So. But I
Have
think
you
we're-
told us how construction's going? Did I miss that part?
You did, sorry, we're not doing that again, no.
Okay.
We're doing,
Actually,
We're done.
Yeah.
Okay.
we're gonna try and do our meeting, next month's meeting down there.
Oh, okay.
But the walls are going up, you can see the layout of things now. We were open downtown today, the parking lot is a huge mess. And so they got us back open, but then they closed off the alleyway to get out of the parking lot, so that's a bit of a problem, but
For
We're working
welding
around
at this
it.
point. Once they get done with the steel
Yeah.
overhangs on the front, we should be able to reopen that alleyway.
yeah.
And
And
Alex is key in getting it open today, Lisa's.
Yes, Alex has been every bit of getting open today. It's been Alex, so.
I had a lot of help, but but we
But
got it.
It was him. He's very modest. It was him.
that's why I took him all day.
Yeah.
If he didn't have any help and everybody left him alone,
Yeah.
2 hours would have been over.
Probably, yeah.
It's
Those
certainly the
guys-
case with my data contractors. I would have been better off today if they just hadn't come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mentioned to them before you got here that we are leaving, things at the Graham Branch are good. We're all friends, and we are even going to leave a little, he offered, or asked if there was a chance we could leave a little early, so. He's got something else going in there. So I'm like, yep, we'll do it. So, I was before this meeting, I was making a list of things to do, like have somebody come get the copier, start canceling utilities and things like that,
Good.
so that'd be good.
Well, I figured you would just be totally sad because I heard on the news the other day where they're
Oh,
pulling the tab on tabs.
let me tell you,
I figured you out running around stocking
the
it up.
struggle is real. Well, we've been out of tab around here for a long time. And so, my sister-in-law and her twin sister are also huge tab addicts. And so we commiserated and all talked about when we drank our last one. And her sister, they were in Panama City while we were in Fort Walton. And so I met my brother and his wife in Seaside and had dinner. And she said that her sister had saved 2 for them to have the last day they were in Florida together. But now Saturday when I left, or no, it was Friday
It was
when I
Friday.
left. I had to get some things, and it was raining. But my dad had asked for something specific, so I ran into the Kroger on Campbell Lane, and they had 4 packs of Tab. So I bought them all. And so Saturday afternoon, while I was in town, I went to every place, Myers and Kroger's and everywhere, and nobody else had any. But if you see some, please think of me and get them. But the day they announced that it was going away, the first text I got was at 6 a.m. And Janie Pulaski sent me the Wall Street Journal article. And then I kept getting condolences. And Terrell said, look and see if you can get some on eBay. And somebody was selling 2 12-packs for $280.
They were offered them, they weren't selling them.
Well, there were bids on them. That was the you can buy it now price. But there were bids on
Maybe
them.
with those 4, would you want to make some money on them before you die?
I'm not. I am not going
You
to
can do that.
prostitute my,
Do they do that with Twinkies? Didn't Twinkies go, or Ho-Hos or something? Or
something like that. I
They're
don't,
going
maybe it
out
wasn't
there too,
Twinkies.
I
What
think.
was it?
I think-
Ding dongs?
Ding dongs.
Ding dongs. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I,
Yeah, but dig dogs are sort of a staple. They're like potatoes and rice, you need those. You can do without that. Be like Twinkies.
but the same grandmother that introduced me to tabs introduced me to ding dongs. So.
One cancels the other out.
Yeah, yes,
Her favorite grandmother, for sure.
for sure. Everybody's. Yeah. But
Well, I guess everything's over, so we need a motion to adjourn, and thank you for everything.
You want a second since you're here, Jim?
Yeah, Jim will say.
Yeah.
Just so he'll be in the minutes.
I want them to name in a minute, so he's pretty on
yeah, and I have not figured out Christmas yet. Obviously, we can't do our leap into the new year dinner, so I have not figured that out yet. I don't mean Christmas. Our December board meeting and event. So,
Like somebody said, that the governor suggested no more than 10 people gather for Thanksgiving, but they've limited funeral services to like 25 or something. So the invitation has gone out that this fellow's having a funeral service for his pet turkey, and refreshments will be
Yeah.
provided.
Yeah.